Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. June 12, 2025, a Manhattan courtroom pulses with tension, its pews packed with journalists, onlookers, and the electric hum of a case that could redefine a cultural titan's legacy. The trial of Sean Combs, known to the world as Diddy, is hurtling toward a climax. A seismic legal battle weaves allegations of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and systematic physical abuse into a narrative that has gripped the globe. This isn't just about a hip-hop icon. It's a window into the dark underbelly of power, manipulation, and complicity, forcing us to confront the cost of unchecked celebrity. With the prosecution poised to rest its case and a verdict looming by late June, the world watches, waiting to see if justice can pierce the armor of fame. Sean Combs was arrested in September 2024, slapped with federal charges that read like a crime novel. Conspiracy under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, RICO, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and interstate transportation for prostitution. Prosecutors paint a chilling picture. Since at least 2006, Combs allegedly ran a criminal enterprise that exploited women through physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, using his wealth, fame, and influence to control and silence them. The trial, which kicked off in 2025, has become a global spectacle, dubbed a media circus for its blend of scandal, tragedy, and star power. Every day, the courtroom overflows with reporters scribbling notes, cameras flashing outside, and a public hungry for answers. At the heart of the prosecution's case is a piece of evidence so visceral it's impossible to shake: a 2016 security video from the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. The footage shows Combs chasing his then-partner Cassie Ventura down a hotel hallway, knocking her to the ground and unleashing a brutal beating. Kicks, punches, and a relentless drag back to a room. Prosecutors call it kidnapping and battery, a snapshot of a broader pattern of violence they say defined Combs' relationships. The video's survival is a story in itself. Combs' team allegedly offered a $100,000 bribe to make it disappear, but one security guard refused. Instead, he recorded the footage on his phone, knowing it might vanish by Monday. That guard, hailed as a rare figure of integrity, leaked the video to CNN, ensuring it became the prosecution's opening salvo. The bribe attempt lays bare a recurring theme: Combs' alleged ability to buy silence. Another guard, granted immunity, testified that the $100,000 was split. His boss pocketed $50,000, and the rest was divided among colleagues. Only the guard who preserved the video stood firm, his testimony a damning indictment of those who enabled Combs. Raids on Combs' Miami and Los Angeles properties added more fuel, uncovering drugs, lubricants, and cameras allegedly tied to events dubbed freak-offs. Sexual encounters prosecutors say were coerced and recorded. These findings, paired with the video, form a cornerstone of the case, painting Combs as a predator who operated with impunity. The trial's emotional weight comes from the women who've taken the stand, their voices cracking through the courtroom's sterile air. Cassie Ventura, who dated Combs from roughly 2006 to 2018, described a decade of torment. She alleges he forced her into freak-offs, recorded sexual encounters with male escorts in hotel rooms under threats of violence or financial ruin. Early texts from Ventura expressing excitement for these events are the defense's lifeline, suggesting consent. But prosecutors fire back with later messages and the 2016 video where Ventura flees a freak-off only to be dragged back, bloodied and battered. Her story is one of entrapment, her dreams of stardom twisted into a nightmare of control. Then there's Jane, a pseudonym for a woman who was Combs' on-again, off-again girlfriend from the late 2000s and 10s until his 2024 arrest. Her testimony mirrors Ventura's. Promises of financial support, like $10,000 monthly rent payments, came with a price: unwanted sexual acts and brutal beatings. She described kicks to the stomach while curled on the floor, designed to inflict pain without leaving visible scars. The precision of the violence, she said, was chilling, a calculated act to keep her compliant. Mia, Another pseudonym was an employee who testified to a different kind of vulnerability. Required to keep her door unlocked at Combs' residence, unlike male staff who could lock theirs, she said he entered at will, abusing her sexually. Her reluctance to fully resist, she admitted, stemmed from his godlike aura, a charisma that prosecutors say he weaponized. These stories, backed by texts, financial records, and witness accounts, weave a tapestry of psychological and economic control. Prosecutors argue Combs targeted women from marginalized backgrounds, exploiting their lack of resources or support. He dangled rent payments, career opportunities, and the allure of his world, only to trap them in a cycle of fear and dependency. The women knew they were being used, prosecutors say, but the threat of losing everything, housing, income, or their shot at fame, kept them tethered. It's a dynamic experts compared to domestic violence, where victims return to abusers not out of love, but survival. The most daunting charge is RICO conspiracy, requiring proof that Combs ran a criminal organization with at least two underlying crimes. Prosecutors cast him as a mob boss, surrounded by a loyal cadre of assistants, security guards, and employees who allegedly orchestrated freak-offs, distributed drugs, and covered up assaults. The underlying crimes are clear, they say: kidnapping from the Intercontinental Incident, battery from multiple reported beatings, and sex trafficking from coerced commercial sex acts. The 2016 video alone, prosecutors argue, checks two boxes. Add the raid findings, drugs and cameras, and the testimonies, and they believe they've built an airtight case. But some legal analysts aren't so sure, arguing the crimes feel more individual than a cohesive enterprise. The RICO charge, they say, is a stretch, a prosecutorial gamble to cast a wider net. Combs, pleading not guilty, has a defense team fighting tooth and nail. They challenge the credibility of witnesses, many entangled in the events. Guards who took bribes, assistants who arranged freak-offs. These devil's helpers, as one observer called them, are a double-edged sword for the prosecution. Their testimony is crucial, but their complicity raises questions. The defense leans on early texts from Ventura and Jane, suggesting enthusiasm for freak-offs. To argue Combs had no reason to doubt consent, they paint the relationships as complex, even consensual, driven by mutual ambition in a high-stakes industry. Prosecutors counter with expert testimony like that of psychologist Dawn Hughes, who explained how fear, financial dependency, and psychological manipulation can mimic consent. The prosecution's use of immunity deals for some witnesses, a standard RICO tactic, aims to secure their cooperation, but jurors may balk at trusting those who enabled the alleged crimes. As of June 12, 2025, the prosecution is on the cusp of resting its case, having unleashed a deluge of evidence that's left the public reeling. The trial is expected to wrap by late June, with a verdict that could redraw the lines of Combs' legacy and the entertainment industry itself. The courtroom, a pressure cooker of media and spectators, reflects a global fixation on a case that's equal parts scandal and tragedy. Prosecutors are confident their evidence, video, testimonies, raid findings will seal a conviction, but the defense insists the RICO charge lacks the glue to hold it together. Every day brings new revelations, each more gut-wrenching than the last as the world grapples with the fall of a titan. This case is more than a legal showdown, it's a mirror to the entertainment industry's darker corners. Prosecutors have hammered home how Combs allegedly used his status to lure young women, often from marginalized backgrounds, with promises of stardom or stability. A $10,000 rent check wasn't just generosity, it was a leash. The freak-offs, prosecutors say, were less about desire than dominance, a way to degrade and control. The women, many lacking family support or strong role models, were easy targets, their vulnerabilities weaponized against them. This isn't just Combs on trial, but a system that let him thrive, where wealth and fame could buy silence, from hotel guards to loyal staff. The complicity of Combs' inner circle is a recurring thread. Security guards who took bribes, assistants who scheduled freak-offs, employees who looked the other way, they all paint a picture of a culture where loyalty to power trumped morality. The guard who refused the $100,000 stands out as an outlier, a lone beacon in a sea of compromise. His decision to preserve the 2016 video wasn't just a technicality, it was a moral stand, ensuring the world saw what prosecutors call the real Combs. But the others, who pocketed cash or stayed silent, embody a broader failure, one that let alleged abuses fester for years. The trial has sparked fierce debate about the celebrities who orbited Combs, attending his infamous white parties in the Hamptons or Miami. Names from Hollywood's elite have been whispered, their presence at these events now a stain on their public image. There's no evidence they knew of or participated in the alleged crimes, but the court of public opinion is less forgiving. The case has become a lightning rod for discussions about Hollywood's moral compass, where proximity to power can blur ethical lines. Were these stars oblivious, or did they choose not to see? The question lingers unanswered as the trial unfolds. The stories of Ventura, Jane, and Mia are the trial's beating heart. Their testimonies a raw testament to survival. Ventura's account of a decade under Combs' shadow, from 2006 to 2018, details not just physical scars but emotional ones, her dreams of a music career twisted into a trap. Jane's story, stretching to 2024, echoes the same pattern. Financial lifelines laced with control, beatings masked as discipline. Mia's experience as an employee stripped of privacy speaks to a workplace where power erased boundaries. Their courage in testifying under the glare of cameras and public scrutiny is a quiet rebellion, a refusal to be silenced any longer. This case also shines a light on the psychology of abuse. Experts like Dawn Hughes have testified about why victims stay, why they return. It's not love, but survival. Fear of losing a home, a career, or a shred of stability. For women like Ventura, Jane, and Mia, Combs wasn't just a partner or boss. He was a gatekeeper to their dreams. His wealth and influence, prosecutors say, were tools of coercion, turning ambition into a cage. The trial underscores a painful truth. Without support systems, family, mentors, or self-worth, vulnerable individuals become prey for predators cloaked in charisma. Legally, the trial is a high-wire act. The RICO charge, with its roots in mafia prosecutions, is a bold move, aiming to frame Combs' actions as a coordinated enterprise rather than isolated acts. The video, the raids, the testimonies, they're pieces of a puzzle prosecutors hope will convince a jury. But the defense is ready to pounce, highlighting inconsistencies, questioning motives, and leaning on the complexity of human relationships. Consent, they argue, isn't black and white in the world of fame, where ambition and power blur lines. The jury, ordinary citizens tasked with untangling this mess, will decide whether the prosecution's narrative holds. The trial's cultural ripple effects are undeniable. It joins a lineage of cases, Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, where powerful men face accountability for alleged abuses. Each case chips away at the myth of untouchable celebrity, but also exposes the systems that let them thrive. Combs' inner circle, from bribe-taking guards to silent assistants, mirrors the enablers who propped up others before him. The trial asks not just whether Combs is guilty, but whether the industry itself is complicit, its silence a form of consent. As the prosecution prepares to rest, the defense is gearing up to counter, likely calling witnesses to paint Combs as a flawed but not criminal figure, caught in consensual relationships warped by fame's pressures. The courtroom, a stage for this high-stakes drama, is a microcosm of a society wrestling with power's cost. The verdict, expected by late June, could send Combs to prison for decades or set him free, a decision that will echo far beyond Manhattan. A conviction would cement the case as a landmark, a warning to the powerful. An acquittal could fuel skepticism about justice for the elite, leaving victims' stories in limbo. The women at the center, Cassie, Jane, Mia, are more than witnesses. They're survivors, their voices cutting through the noise of celebrity. Their stories, raw and unfiltered, remind us of the human toll behind the headlines. They speak of pain, yes, but also resilience, a refusal to let their truth be buried. As the trial races toward its end, the world holds its breath, waiting for a verdict that could redefine accountability at the pinnacle of fame. Whatever the outcome, one truth stands tall. Diddy's legacy and the soul of an era hangs in the balance.